Hello. Hi, everybody. My name is Tiffany Roth, and welcome to Tiffany Talks. This show was created to help everyday people live extraordinary lives. In order to do that, I get to get up close and personal with you guys. That's what I'm doing. I'm getting up close and personal, so I'm getting that live chat started. This is a conversation. And you guys, I actually read the messages in the chat to decide what are the best topics of the week. And as I was reading the messages in the chat, someone left me a message that said, Tiffany, I can't believe that you are separated from your husband. Didn't you just celebrate your 16th year anniversary? And it really kind of stuck me in the chest because I was like, wow, I guess I had addressed this with everyone, but maybe not, because I really don't believe in like airing all of your personal laundry all the time. But I thought it was an important topic since you guys have been in my lives for a very long time. Some of you guys have been around and watched me birth both of my children. I mean, it's been amazing. Oh my goodness. Like since I've been on YouTube, it's been a long time. And I have been married all the time that I've been up to YouTube up until now. So I wanted to share with you the story and the real reason why I'm getting divorced after 18 years. And for some of you, you may get it, you may understand it, you may not understand it, but it's important for me because I think if I really just finally get it all out, then it might support some people. I don't know, it'll give you sort of more of an open understanding of relationships and, you know, the ebb and flow of relationships and love, and just really giving you a good and deep background about love. So I'm going to just do like a girlfriend to girlfriend stream of consciousness flow. So I met my ex about 20 years ago. I guess it was about 20 years ago, actually more than, I don't know when it was, 1999, whenever that was, in Mexico. And it was the most beautiful love story. We met, we fell in love. It was great. So a little background about me up until that point. I waited for a long time to get married. I was like, I don't want to tell you how old I was, but you know, I was like into my 30s before I got married, because it was really important for me to get married once and to marry the right person. And so as what happens is, like in your 20s and your 30s, when the time goes by and you're realizing, wow, I really haven't met that person, it must be me. What's going on with me? So I started reading lots of books and talking to people and finding out about like, what was it about me that I wasn't attracting my soulmate, right? So I don't know if you guys remember some of these books, Getting Do I Do, The Rules, and all these different things. And what I discovered about myself was that, you know, I have a driver personality, and I operate, you know, but being in school, being in law school, being, you know, a personal trainer, I'm always like sort of driving, like pushing. And I realized that there wasn't a balance in my personality in relationships of my feminine energy, not meaning my femininity, because I consider myself very feminine, but my feminine energy, right? And so I went on this quest to find out, like, how was I going to be more feminine, right? And the leap that I made was to be more feminine. I repressed my true feelings about things. And let me tell you guys, I believe this to the core of my being, that it was important for me to do this at this time. I don't have any regrets. But looking back on it, what I did was I wasn't my full self in the relationship, in the sense like I was not speaking my mind completely. I was being more, I don't want to say, it wasn't really, you know, I would let things flow. I was teaching myself how to let the man lead, because I didn't really know how to do that, because I was raised in a single parent household with just my mother. So I was just really sometimes being quiet and observing. And before I spoke, I would just, you know, let things flow. And I think it worked beautifully, you guys. I think it really worked beautifully. I think in some relationships, like there definitely gets to be a masculine and feminine energy, in relationships, but it also shifts throughout the relationship. It shifts, right? And I don't think we shifted in a way that allowed both of us to really grow. So I started to feel more and more repressed and less like myself in the relationship. And again, I do want to say, like, look, I have the most amazing daughters in the world. I had a great life. I had a great relationship, and I have no regrets. I have no regrets. However, I get to go back and look and see, like, what role did I play in the breakdown of my marriage? Because if we don't do that, you end up doing the same thing in your next relationship. So it wasn't until after I started studying the work of leadership, which requires you to look within. It requires you to always look within. And what I found out is that I wasn't being my true self, right? I wasn't being my true self in the relationship with him or with myself, right? And I didn't even give him a chance at the beginning. Like, I didn't give him a chance because I just showed up that way, because I had realized, like, this is what you do. You show up in your feminine energy, like, you like let the man lead and this and that. But what happens is that neither of us were being our authentic selves, and that leads to problems. So for me, if I can't be my full self in the relationship, or I felt like there needed to be there was a competition amongst leaders, or like who was in charge, all of these things, but I just suppressed it. Because listen, you guys, I intended to get married once and one time only, and I would have been in it till the very bitter end. That's my personality, right? Commitment is one way. So I was like, I'm going to be committed. I'm going to see this through. Even if I feel suffocated, I feel like I can't truly express my wants and desires, or I held myself back. And I do want to say, like, this was self-imposed, you guys. Like, nobody told me, Tiffany, you can't do this, or you have to be this way. I believed, it was my belief system, that that's how I had to show up in order for the relationship to work. Now, what that created, though, is that I pulled away because I could be my full self with my girlfriends and my work, and it created a rift. Now, after I studied the work of leadership, I see that that's where I contributed to the breakdown of the relationship, because I started being more comfortable with my work or with my friends or with my children, just being myself, than I was with my husband. And so from my part, that sort of lack of connection, which I wasn't aware of, but it had been created just over the years, that caused a breakdown from my side. On his side, listen, you guys, everyone has their own experience, like what they're going through in their life, right? They go through things, whether it's childhood trauma or, their own relationship baggage from before, or self-esteem issues. Like, each individual has their own course to work through, right? So, from my understanding, like his path, he had to work through different stuff. And it led him to making some choices that I could not align with, right? So he was unfaithful in the marriage. And when I found out that he was unfaithful in the marriage, at first I thought, okay, like lots of relationships survive that, right? Lots of relationships survive infidelity. However, I think what's more challenging to survive is the lack of trust and the broken agreements. And that was really hard for me. And even though I was shifting, and most powerfully as I could, into being understanding and realizing how I co-created this by the lack of connection, I really couldn't bridge that gap. Of trust. But listen, you guys, it's super important for you guys to understand that any relationship that you're in, right? It's like you bring your same self to the table. So I had to go within and do some work on myself so I wouldn't show up with the same issues in the next relationship. And that's like being connected, being my true and full self. So even when I was in the relationship and we were going through the separation, we've been separated over a year now, living separately over a year. I mean, I haven't announced it publicly, but now you guys No, we have been separated for over a year, and this whole breakdown started about a year and a half ago, or a year and 8 months ago. So we're going on 2 years of this process of not being together, and we are in the process of a divorce. So anyway, what I realized was that for me, in the relationship, because I was so committed to making the relationship work, and I say was, obviously I wasn't, because commitment is or it isn't, right? But at that time, I was committed, and I would have been in it for the long haul. And I was willing to what I call compromise in the relationship. Even compromise my happiness, right? Even compromise me being my full self, even compromising the ability to fully exhale, right? So I was willing to compromise. But what I realized after a time, that it wasn't that, the issue was not that I was compromising in the relationship, because relationships are not always 50-50. Sometimes it's 100-0, sometimes it's 90-10, sometimes it's 60-40. And there's times when people are giving more and taking more, and it goes like that. But that's compromise, where like you rise to the occasion to make it work. But what didn't work for me is that the compromise that was happening the most was the compromise with myself, you guys. It was with myself. I was compromising who I was, who I wanted to be, who I could be as a woman in order to be in this relationship. And that was the bridge that I couldn't gap. I couldn't connect the dots on that bridge. So then as we went through the process and we got separated, and the most interesting thing was that exhale breath, that like, wow. And I didn't really realize like how challenging it was for me to be in a relationship where I wasn't breathing deeply into myself. And then after I moved into my own place and I started breathing deeply into myself, having a better relationship with myself, I was able to see like what worked for me in the relationship and what didn't work for me. And it took a long time, you guys. Like I was quiet about it for a long time because I wasn't really sure about how I was feeling about it. I was processing it. I actually detached from some of my closest friends. It was just really, my sister and my good friend, you guys know Sally, that were kind of there for me where I could talk about it. But other than that, I just didn't talk about it that much because I wanted to be sure what I felt before I talked about it to other people, right? And what I realized during that time is that that compromised relationship with myself was a price I didn't want to pay. I did not want to pay a price of compromising myself to be in a relationship. And so the next step is, what can I do next, right, to make something positive and a beautiful experience for us as co-parents, right? So I shifted. And also doing the work of leadership, you guys. Now I'm a coaching leadership, and I absolutely love it because it's life changing. If it weren't for this program, if it weren't for me able to shift into understanding self, I think I would be in a completely different place right now. But because of that, I was able to shift into, okay, how did I create this? What worked, what didn't work? And what do I see for myself moving forward, right? So listen, you guys. If you don't do this work, you bring your same self to the next relationship. It's you. So what I figured out about myself was that I get to be, and thank God, guys, this is what I'm telling you, which is so amazing at this point. At this point in my life, like after 50, it's almost like gold. It's a second breath because I get to be the greatest and fullest part of who I am and explore everything about what I want to create and how I want to show up in this world without worrying about another person, right? And I think that's what I really wanted. I really, really wanted it. So that's what I have, and it's beautiful. And then I started to see like what kind of characteristics and traits I'm looking for in a partner. Because as we change over the years, right, sometimes the things that we want in a partner, they change too, right? They change as well. And for me to be my full self, I realized that to be aligned with a man. I want someone who is, is positive and full of energy and easy flowing and, fun and young at heart and works out and all of these things, right? And I want to say, like, look, I am not saying anything negative about my relationship. It ended, and it ended in the best possible way that it could be. I did the work on self, and I'm moving forward. And when you move forward, you know what you want. You know what you want, you know what you're looking for. And so that brings you peace. So I'm at peace right now, and I want you guys to know that thank you for all of your well wishes and your words and your work, but I'm good. I'm really good. I'm good and I'm happy. And now I'm just working on making this sort of co-parenting relationship so that my girls can see still what it's like to have two parents that are loving each other through loving them instead of in a relationship of as man and wife. So I'm going to open it up right now. If you guys have any questions, it is what it is. Okay. Hey, Christine. Oh, you guys listen. So Christine, she is a fellow YouTuber and she has been working out with me and we're training on the TRFC. Please follow her channel at Christine. Hi, Ty. How are you? Yes. So, and any woman that I'm talking more about this. I'll be talking more about life after 50, right? Okay, life after divorce, right? Cheryl says it's wonderful, right? Your future is so bright and better. Things are definitely coming. I'm so happy for you. Oh, thank you. What is that, a hug-a-thug? Thank you, hug-a-thug. And again, you guys, I just want to say that I'm in a good place. I really am in a good place. It was tough. It was a tough year. And it was also a deep dive into finding out about myself. Hey, Khadijah. But it's so worth it, you guys. It's so worth it. And now I'm able to talk about it without those triggers. I'm able to talk about it without pain. I feel good. Hey, Nazba. And I'm ready to move on with the next chapter of my life, right? Yes, it's so exciting. All right, thank you so much. I appreciate your blessings. If you guys, I do read all of your comments, you guys. So I decide about what topics that I'm going to address based on your comments or based on what's going on in the world, right? So, and people are shocked and they're surprised when they hear about the fact that I'm going through a divorce with my husband. And I probably am having this topic because I had a conversation with my girlfriend last night. And she was saying that, okay, all right. So someone is saying the Owl channel is wanting to know, how do you keep from creating the same situation? Well, you got to work on yourself, right? Yes. Oh, I'm so happy, Morris. I'm so happy that this helped. If I can help, leave some questions in there, I'd be happy to answer them for you. Okay. Hey, Ebony, how are you? So, how do you not bring your same self to the relationship? So I was talking to my girlfriend and she was saying that, her mom was like, I can't believe that Tiffany's getting a divorce, because she said she would never get a divorce, right? And I didn't think that I would, right? I really didn't think that I would, but I also wasn't in an authentic relationship with myself, you guys. I was in a relationship where I was compromising myself. Do you guys hear me? I was in a relationship where I was compromising myself. And that was nobody to blame for that but me. I said, and do I regret it? No, I do not. I have no regrets, you guys. I have learned everything that I need to learn from that experience. I have grown from that experience. I have learned to love myself exactly where I am and who I am, and I'm willing to create what I'm going to create in the world, right? So just because something doesn't go the way you expected doesn't mean that it was a bad thing, you guys. It only is going to be bad as if you keep repeating the thing over and over again without going, okay, so how did I participate in this? Because it can't be about the other person. Because if your breakdowns in relationships are about the other person, then you are powerless to create something different next time. You guys hear me? So if you're always blaming the other person for whatever it is, even if it's cheating or infidelity, he did this, he did that, blah, blah, blah. If it's constantly their fault, how are you ever going to have another relationship where that doesn't happen, right? How are you ever going to have another relationship where that doesn't happen if someone is always someone else? The only time that you can really create something different is when you show up differently in that relationship. And so people say, oh, I don't want to fall in love, blah, blah, blah. Usually, like, maybe you weren't in a loving relationship with yourself. Maybe you weren't, being true to yourself. And maybe that's why it didn't work out. So this is just my food for thought, right? And again, as we move through this beautiful process of life, you guys, it is so empowering because we get to grow and we get to create it. It makes it exciting. It's exciting. I am excited about the next half of my life. I'm excited about new relationships. I'm excited about everything I get to create for myself. So I feel good. So thank you guys. You don't need to say, I'm sorry to hear that, because it was a course of life and it's going to continue on another path, doing something else. Co-parenting, friendship. And then, when one door closes, another door opens, you guys. Doors always open. It's what you believe, what you truly believe is possible for you is what you will create. And I believe that everything is possible 100% of the time. All right, you guys, I am so happy that you guys listened and you let me just sort of let it out so I can squash this once and for all and get on with my life. What's Christina saying? Yes. Oh my God, yes, it's long. Christina says the path to loving yourself is long. Listen, you guys, it requires what? Constant and consistent commitment, you guys. Hey, Carolina, thank you, the Owl Channel. It requires constant and consistent commitment to self. Constant and consistent commitment to self. Your life's journey is not about other people. It's about how you are showing up for yourself in this planet and what are you intending to create in this world, right? What are you intending to create? If it's meant to be, it's up to me. All right. I love you guys. Thank you so much. I hope this helped. And if you like this video, please share it with a friend. Tune in every Tuesday at 12:30 for Tiffany Talks. This show was created to help everyday people live extraordinary lives. Everyday people live. Hi, Shannon. Hi, Denise. To live extraordinary lives. I love this conversation with you guys. I really love it. So leave comments below and also follow me on my vegan journey. I'm posting every day for the next 30 days and it's awesome. I have a lot to say today, so I have another video coming up. Okay, thank you so much. Ooh, you guys, okay, Purple Rain. All right, yes, we get to stand up for ourselves, right? All right, and then I couldn't even read that last name, but okay. Leave some comments, I read them, and that's how we determine what happens on next week's episode of Tiffany Talks. Love you guys. Bye.